So on the magic day, the 13th of July 1985, we arrived by coach in England, and we first had to drop off luggage at a hotel, which was near Heathrow. So when we finally got at Wembley, the show had already started. I recall Status Quo playing when we entered the stadium, and fortunately enough, we had an entrance ticket at entrance F, as you can see the ticket here shows. And as it happened, that F entrance at Wembley Stadium, the old Wembley Stadium, was quite near the stage. It was early in the day, and a lot of people were already there, but the stadium wasn't full by far yet at that point. So we were able to get a prime position. I think we were, let's say, about 50, maybe 100 meters from the stage. Not that close that you get a neck pain, but really at a distance that you could see the expressions on the faces of the acts performing there. And that was Francis Rossi playing Roll Over, Lay Down at that point when we entered. I've been a Queen fan since 1974 with the release of the second album, Queen 2. And I've seen all their performances in the Netherlands at least, but also in other countries, in Belgium, France, Germany, the UK, of course. And that were performances with, the lighting that the special effects, the sometimes endless guitar solos in Now I'm Here, Now I'm There, the opening of Brighton Rock, which could take a long time, the changing of costumes, everything everyone likes about Queen. So this performance at Live Aid was quite different. There was no light, it was the middle of the day, it was a hot day, it was warm. There were no special effects. It was just a bass guitar, the May Red, the drum kit, Freddie and his mic, and the piano. No lighting. So it all came down to their own performance, to the songs, to the way they presented themselves. And the crowd went wild. The crowd went really, really wild. You can see that in the film, because that's the part in the film, obviously, that I like most, as I was there in 1985. And therefore, yes, I can say that this is really their best performance, but also I think the point of reference for other artists, even artists now. I currently work in the music industry in the Netherlands, and one of the things I occasionally hear is when people ask, well, does it compare to Queen's performance at Live Aid, especially now with the movie out? And when the answer is, well, almost, or no, then you just don't count. It was really great, and the energy exploded from the stage. You could actually see, and this is something you see in the movie as well, the eye contact between John Deacon and Brian May. That was truly there, and everything sparkles. It's the stuff like that, and the old Wembley Stadium was really big. It could take over 120,000 people, and you could feel it. It went through the stadium like a wave. It's something that I look back on as bigger than Woodstock, and probably something that we will never see again. The lineup of acts, bands, artists playing at Live Aid was amazing, of course. All the big acts of those days were there. Phil Collins even flew by Concorde from Heathrow to New York and then on to Philadelphia. The Concorde airplane actually made a small detour and circled for about a few moments over Wembley Stadium. And The people in the crowd unaware of that were made aware of that by the people on stage. But back to Queen, of course, because their performance there can truly be said it's the best performance of that century. And it became during the day and the evening, it became actually a point of reference for other acts. Although it was way halfway through the concert, suddenly the people in the crowd, and that was a feeling that, you know, that was almost tangible when you were there in the audience. Everyone during Queen's performance realized that this was something very, very exceptional, something, you know, a once in a lifetime event. And I think the guys on stage realized that as well. And I don't mean the band, but also the camera people, the people sitting up in the rigs, which was very well done in the movie, and everyone realized that this was, you know, exceptional. And also the other bands suddenly realized that they needed to, you know, clean up their act and, you know, and improve and do better, which was almost impossible to do, because Queen stood out there and carried the audience into the next phase of the concert. That Saturday in July 1985 was an extremely hot day. And when I mean extremely hot, it was truly hot. And Queen was going to perform somewhere halfway through the whole lineup. So everyone at that point was tired, hot, sweaty. There wasn't enough water, which was, considering the course for Live Aid, appropriate, really. So when the guys came on stage, and the movie reflects that very truthfully, there was this new flow of energy, you know, flooding the stadium. It was truly amazing. And when they started their set, the whole stadium, the complete crowd was lifted on a cloud. It was magical, really magical. Don't really recall if the volume of Queen was, you know, higher than the other acts. What I do recall is that, you know, everything was spot on. It was clear. It was Freddie's voice was amazing, and you could actually hear everything very, very closely. It was, you know, it was truly magical. And although I'm not really a fan of the hey ho scenes where the audience then tunes in and follows Freddie in his playfulness, but at that point at Live Aid, it brought in a whole new level of, you know, audience participation, and also, you know, the way Freddie stood there and he managed and controlled the audience, you know. It was you know, an experience never to forget. And when Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses says that he's the best frontman ever, he's obviously right. The first rumors about Live Aid, they came to me in 1984, quite rapidly after Band Aid released the Christmas single "Do They Know It's Christmas," which you'll probably be hearing the next couple of weeks quite a lot. At the time I was working for a ticket agency. This agency supplied a service where Dutch people visiting London could book tickets to West End musicals. Keep in mind, there was no internet, there were no mobile phones, there was not even email. So it was very difficult for people to get hold of tickets anywhere outside their own country. And obviously we had our ear to the ground in the UK. And well, I think it was very, very quickly after the release of Do They Know It's Christmas that we heard rumors about a big event going to take place in the summer of the next year, 1985. Although at that time it was still rumors. No idea which acts were going to perform, but we kept our ears to the ground. And then, yes, early in the new year, 1985, our counterparts in London confirmed that there was going to be a big event, not only in London, in Wembley, at Wembley Stadium, but also in Philadelphia, in the JFK Stadium. At that point, still unclear who was going to perform. And I think quite late in the end of the spring, it became apparent that, you know, all the big acts of those days were going to perform. However, Queen was not confirmed at that point. I think that happened only, you know, days, maybe weeks before the event. We organized as an agency a trip to London for, you know, Dutch people who wanted to visit the event, and we were able to get hold of about 300 tickets. And obviously, I was going to be the tour guide of this trip, which proved to be an historic event. And it's 2019 almost, and we're still talking about it. So yeah, it was a great show, and probably something that we will never see again.